but this car actually needs to be drove harder. And I guess it's like I just had to, like, in my mind, like, it doesn't matter what I think. Like, I think it should be drove a certain way because it's like a metric car or whatever. It's telling me, Jason, you better get that out of your head, or you're gonna sit there in last place if you don't get this figured out, you know? Hey y'all, Jason here with Dirt Race Life. So, I'm a glutton for punishment, but I am back at Clayhill. I'm not gonna give up. We're gonna get this street stock figured out. So this is our 6th race on the new chassis. Y'all stick around. Let's see if we can get it figured out tonight. I think we need to figure the driver out, not the car. I think the car is right. I think it's me needs to do some adjusting.
Street stocks, there's 9 of you. You're gonna hot lap, and then I'm gonna bring you back out for qualifying. We're gonna do 2 at a time. All right, and I got $100 from White Cox Racing to the quick time for street stocks. The lineup will be up there. You'll come out 2 at a time. Come onto the racetrack, give yourself some room. The second car will come onto the racetrack and be full speed when you hit the green flag the next time. All right, you get 2 time laps. We'll line you up in your 2 heat races because I don't want you guys to crash out based on that.
Get away from that Uke tire. It got me. Didn't hurt the car though. But I was letting a little bit of air pressure out. Track is super slick. We're fixing to qualify. It's already like slick. There was nothing there. It was already black. So I just dropped some air pressure. Tires heated up and gained like 2 pounds even on the left side. So I just took and let 2 pounds out of my right rear and I let 2 pounds out of my left front. I'm tightening the car. It's by doing that. I don't have time to do anything but tighten it like that. So, time to qualify, I gotta go.
3 and 4 because they said it's a little too dusty. So they are watering the track right now.
Okay. Okay, I got it. I got it. I don't know if we got footage or not, but just throw it up there. Oh, here, take this. We might have some footage on that right front. Tell us something.
This is the U tire damage. That's just a little flattening out some metal work, but Papa Duke can handle that.
Well, I got the car freed up enough, but I left the chain. I left the left rear chain all the way out at 4 inches because I got it too tight and messed it all up last time. Okay, so I got the car free, but it's too free. I got to go back a little bit. So we qualified third fastest, and we were fast. It was good, but I made the car super free, really, really free, on entry, on purpose. I had this chain all the way out. And that's not going to work. I got to have a little bit, I got to tighten it down a little bit. I got to stop the car from rotating. But right now it's over rotating. A little bit too much. Yeah.
Elvis Jones, what is it? He's all shook up? All shook up.
Here's the setup board from what I actually brought to the track tonight. So check this out. You see the full setup, everything there. So you see I had 150 pounds of bite. The chain was out at 4 inches, and when I went out and qualified, the car was just like drift, 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 drift on entry. I would never catch the chain and force it into the right rear on the entry, and so that slowed me down. I went on the left rear change with 3.5 inches, okay? Rachel was watching and she said on turn 1 and 2, my right front was digging into the track just a little bit. I've come up 1 round on the right front, didn't change any other jack. So I'm pushing just a little bit of left rear into the car. So I'm adding some bite to the car and just picking that right front corner up just a little bit. 1 turn's not much on a 950 spring, y'all. And let's see, what else did I do? Put some fuel in it. Left the air pressure alone. I just checked it, made sure that I dropped them down so when they heat up, they're getting to my air pressure settings that I got on the board here. So they're like 2 pounds lower than that right now. And let's go race. I think I'm about, the track was slick, which I like, makes the car predictable,
Yeah.
you know, but I think it was actually pretty good. It was a little bit tight. I had to be careful, and it was funny. It was a little bit tight on entry, and I thought, okay, let's run the brakes to the rear. It got tighter when I ran the brakes to the rear, and I got to think about that. What's called, you know, like, is that like how these cars act? You know what I mean? But like when I ran the car, you know, like super slick track, run the brakes to the nose. So I ran the brakes all the way to the nose, and so what it was doing is it was tucking that front end down, and that was making my front tires plant and turn the car. So the tight went away, you know, but you know, of course the track was just so slick that, you know, then I was just in the middle. I was just waiting, you know, to pick the throttle up, If I pick the throttle up too soon, and I know, like, I've got about 1.25 inches of rear steer with me, like in the car. Those scale numbers and that whole board that I put up earlier, that was with my weight in the car on everything on the board this time. But anyway, I got about 1.25 inches of left rear lead, and I think if I drop that back about 1/2 inch to like 3/4 inch on slick like this, that would have been better. I think I had a little too much rear steer in the car, and cause man, if I, like when I was working traffic, I was struggling with the car a little bit. You know, like I was on that inside line too far in and needed to get over in order to get the entry going.
You could tell.
Yeah, and like, man, when I would make this car like flex on the shocks, and that rear steer would jump in and out on it, oh, it would just jerk the whole rear end of the car out from under me. And I mean, I was like, woo, you know.
Honestly, if you could have held it more close to the inside of the track,
yeah,
you could have actually picked up a little bit more on Brent and them as well. They were holding tight on the inside, but every time you would, like you say, as you were trying to come out of the turn, the car just pushed kind of toward the top of the track.
Yeah, it was and I tell you what I was wanting to do, but I couldn't. It was like the track was so slick, and it was just like being on glass.
Yep, you can tell.
And I was a little bit afraid to really start trying to like do things and experiment. It's like, just wheel the car, Jay, just wheel the car. And I could tell Brent was not, like I was running the same. I ain't looked at the lap times, but my lap times were definitely with Brent and Wyatt. Like I was good, okay? Now I wasn't running them down, but like I've got my speed that I need.
Oh yeah.
But like the way it was, like I was, how am I trying to say this? Like I was running, and I was like pulling it down on its nose, and I was tucking in on that corner, and what I wanted was I wanted that drift to be across the turn, but instead it's like my drift was like skating out off the turn.
Yes, it was.
And I couldn't, and it was like I couldn't figure out exactly what I needed to do to get the car out there to the wall and get that skate to happen across the ground. Because if I could have got that skate to happen, because there was some brown at the bottom, but I couldn't, but like, in other words, I could catch the brown to turn the car, but I couldn't stay in the brown in order, like what I'm talking about, the track was a little bit tackier right down next to the U tires. It was like, I could catch that to turn the car, but what I needed was to be further out on the wall and come across into the corner where that I could have like picked up the throttle and the left rear been in that and me be scooting across it. And it's like I was trying to figure it out, and it was like I couldn't quite hit it. And you know, it was like, we're not going to run Brent down. Let's not play around. You know, let's see if we can just turn the best laps we can with what we got right now. So I just stayed safe the last several laps. Well, and I kind of backed off the speed. You notice Matt, I noticed Matt there in my door, and and good for him, because I mean, I hosed him over. Brent cut short.
Yeah. And
I had to lock it down, and I spun the car, but like, I mean, it was that or run over Brent. And I wasn't about to run over Brent, but he cut short into the corner. It was his line. He could do that. Nothing wrong with that. But he cut short into that corner, and buddy, I was like, oh, I'm screwed. And so anyway, so I spun, and then Matt kept from hitting me, so he spun.
Yeah.
And so it's cause and collect. So they put him on the back too, and I'm like, oh, he didn't deserve that. But anyway, but he got put back there with. But both of us come right back up through there.
Yeah.
But I was able to get ahead of Matt through traffic. See.
Yeah.
So sorry, Matt. Anyway, but yeah. That's better. I think we're about there. I'm not fooling with the setup anymore. I'm leaving it right here. We gotta loosen it. So if we need to loosen it up from where we're at right here, we'll space out the right rear. I'm gonna put it back on the scales with where these are. I may have to raise the whole front of this car up. You know, we're pulling that nose under.
It's definitely pulling it under.
And I'm running this engine hot. I'm picking up a lot of debris in the radiator. My radiator, I'm picking up debris in my radiator and stuff. I put a pan under the front to stop it. It was running hot. I took the pan off because the track slicked off. You know, and I was just sitting there watching my heat gauge. I got up to 240. I've got the right radiator. I've got the right pulleys on it. I've got the right fan on it. I've got everything right. And it's not quite keeping up, so I've really got to look hard at that. There's nothing wrong with the engine, but I may have to add some fuel. I may go up a jet number or two on that E85. I've got it right down on the button for almost lean to make the most power. But if I added some fuel to this engine, it would cool it down a little bit. So
that right front doesn't need to be digging in the dirt while you're trying to do that either. And
yeah, you're right.
That's caused a lot of problems.
It's plowing down in.
It is.
It's plowing down.
Definitely.
Well, if I raise the whole front of the car, I'm not going to mess my setup up.
Right.
I can put it on the scales, just raise both jack screws and just like go up a ½ inch or something, you know, and like make sure I keep all my scale numbers the same. And then just make sure I keep all my settings in the back the same and just do it like that right there. But I don't want to mess it up.
No.
We're pretty close. I
We
think
are.
at this point I just need to learn how to drive the car.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Hope you're subscribed. Hey, hit my website, dirtracelife.com. I've got some new t-shirts in, so if you've been looking for a t-shirt, had some people asking me, I've got some shirts on the website now available. And I got some shirts on there on clearance as well. So I appreciate it. That helps support what we're doing. Because I got an engine right now. Robert Hughes, Robert, work on my engine for me, please.
Please.
So yeah, Robert's my machinist and he's got a block. He's trying to see whether or not we can salvage it and build a short block. And then I got to get her heads off the old motor. Anyway, if y'all didn't know, if you hadn't watched the episode a couple back, Rachel puked half the motor out on the track. So I had to do that for the Camaro. Hey, I'll see y'all next time.
See ya.